Are you ready to become the Jedi you were meant to be? To save the galaxy from the forces of evil and tyranny? To live out your Star Wars fantasies the way you always hoped you could, while laughing your butt off? If the answer to any of those questions is yes, then look no further than Traveller's Tales' latest LEGO game, LEGO Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga. After some delay, Traveller's Tales have finally delivered the Skywalker Saga to gamers all and sundry, and, in the process, had delivered not only the largest LEGO game to date, but also the best Star Wars game to date, assuming you're not counting the recent remastering of Knights of the Old Republic. The Skywalker Saga holds 9 of the Star Wars movies in one collection for you to play through. It would have been easy for Traveller's Tales to simply take over the previous Star Wars games, update them, and pop them into this collection. Thankfully, that isn't what they did. Instead, Traveller's Tales took the games right back to the design stage and built the Skywalker Saga from the ground up in the newest engine, making them all new LEGO Star Wars games. Sure, the story beats all remain the same, but it's how it's presented that matters, and the developers have certainly outdone themselves here. The basic LEGO gameplay loop remains the same. You explore the environment, beat up some bad guys, break down LEGO structures for studs, and then build other LEGO objects to help you in combat or to solve environmental puzzles. All of this is done against the backdrop of those planets in that galaxy far, far away. Help Luke and Han save Princess Leia, blow up a Death Star, stop a Phantom Menace, help Rey fight the First Order, and totally blow off C-3PO when he tries to tell you why he's become so fashion misaligned with one right arm. Each movie is told with that same gentle LEGO humour that both venerates the source material while poking fun at it in a hilarious fashion. Most of the jokes usually happen in the background, or through dialogue splashed out around the levels, and more than once I found myself laughing out loud, usually at the expense of the stormtroopers. The moments between each narrative beat have been expanded upon with some creative license by providing you with vast sections of each planet to explore. Between deadly TIE fighter duels, you can explore the environment, pick up side quests and missions, or collect one of the many, many Kyber bricks. The game is absolutely stacked with these, well over 1,000 of them. And if you're not collecting those, there are also plenty of characters, ships, and cheat codes to unlock. If that's still not enough for you, each story level also comes with little challenges that will award you Kyber bricks if you complete them. Collect enough studs, unlock characters, perform certain actions in a level. These all add to the replayability, and encourage you to fully explore each level. If that still isn't enough, the game now has dedicated space sections for you to play around in dogfights, and collectibles to find in space as well. Once you've completed an area for story purposes, you open it up for free play and exploration. Now there's plenty of things you normally can't reach without a specific ability, but during free play you can explore these levels with any other character, and that allows you to access distinct gold LEGO pieces, for instance. Traveller's Tales has also added new dialogue as well, instead of just using voice clips from the movies as they have in the previous franchise games. As a consequence, there's a whole new cast of sound-alikes voicing your favourite Star Wars characters. Now, a few of the characters do use their original voice acting lines, but the replacement cast does a pretty good job of sounding like Harrison Ford or Mark Hamill. For the absolute purists, traditional LEGO mumbling makes a welcome return if you toggle the mumble mode. Voice work aside, the biggest changes are clearly some of the expanded gameplay mechanics and the overall visuals. Both melee and range combat have been entirely reworked. The game's camera has been brought in closer and tucked behind the shoulder, more like a traditional third-person shooter, with some light Gears of War style mechanics thrown in. You can, as an example, hug cover, shoot out from behind it, and vault over it if need be. Of course, in traditional LEGO fashion, if it gets blown to pieces, you can always rebuild it. Now, the melee combat has also had a wonderful overhaul. Taking clues from LEGO Ninjago, melee combat is now combat-based, with blocks, counters, and some entertaining air juggles thrown in. It all flows incredibly smoothly between the two combat styles and fighting animations. So, whether you're using lightsabers, which can now be flung at your opponent, or fisticuffs, the combat is incredibly fun. Oh, and if you were wondering what you do with all those Kyber bricks, well, they're used to buy new skills for your characters in the game's skill tree system. There's a basic skill tree system for every character, but there are also class-specific ones for Jedis, Scouts, Rogues, etc. Now, if we just focus on the visuals and performance, this is the best a LEGO game has ever looked. The LEGO pieces are superbly modelled and animated, with the game rendering pieces right down to the wear and tear that LEGO pieces often show, including dirt or the worn moulding you sometimes get on physical bricks. This level of detail applies to the set design as well, with areas such as Mos Eisley looking old and dusty, while the halls and hangars of the Empire buildings are shiny and bright. The game is also making use of modern techniques, such as physically based rendering materials, cube maps, and plenty of screen space reflections. Speaking of those cube map and SSR reflections, the game's reflections are absolutely stellar. Most areas in the game have some form of reflections, but in the Starkiller Base and Death Star in particular, these effects are truly something to behold, with everything, including your characters, NPCs, and even exploding Lego pieces and studs being reflected in real time as you play. It's, if nothing else, a wonderful showcase for how far technology has come in recent years. When it comes to the performance, the game ran absolutely smoothly, no matter what was happening while I was playing. There were no performance dips that were particularly notable, and the engine seems to maintain a smooth frame rate at all times. There is, however, only one area of the game where the presentation suffers, and that's in the cutscenes, which have this odd, jerky performance about them, making it seem as though they've been recorded at a low frame rate, or suffering from some sort of frame rate problems that they shouldn't have if they had been rendered in real time. In short, most of the time, they just look shuddery in comparison to general gameplay. From the moment you hear that wonderful John Williams score while looking at the level select screen, which sports some gorgeously animated dioramas for each movie, to the moment Episode 4 scrolling text rolls across the screen, to the moment you've blown up the Death Star, and many, many more moments after that, LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga is nothing but a delight. Even the much maligned trilogies, You Know Who You Are an absolute blast to play through here, faring so much better than the actual movies they're based on. Ultimately, LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga is a beautiful, charming, breezy, and epic adventure that will remind you why you were glad when A New Hope came into your life. And this is why this game deserves to be in your life too.